that. So our first thing to do this morning is grammar. So go ahead and get your grammar books out. We're going to look at that together for a minute, and then I'll show you what page to turn to. Does anyone not have their books yet? Okay, good. So everybody's got their books. Or do you have yours, Lacey? Oh, you don't know? But I sent you the work for today, right? So you have a copy of it. Okay, good.
Yes.
Good. That's right. That's what matters. So you won't have the book. So just, ignore me talking about turning pages and all that. You'll just have to watch what I do here for that. So here's your grammar book, and we're going to start on page 1. When you open your book, you're going to see some boring pages here. Basically, table of contents and all this other stuff here. And you're going to keep going until you see this page right here. This is page 1. By the way, I love how you guys all have your names on your screen. Your cameras are on. Some of you are muted and some of you are not muted. If it's not too noisy at your house, you can stay unmuted. But if it is kind of noisy in the background, that's okay. You can stay muted. And then that way it's easier to hear. If you're unmuted and then I hear sounds, I might mute you from my side. And that's okay. That sometimes we need to do that. The internet sometimes is weird because there's an echo sometimes. So you just let me know if the sound is weird. But that way, if you're unmuted, then it's easier to kind of bounce back and forth here. Give me a thumbs up if you found this page, page 1. You can give me a thumbs up in the camera like this, or if you know how to use the emojis, you can use the emojis. It's in the chat. And that's a spot, but only when I ask you, okay? So I don't want you to spend time on the emojis, but you can give me a thumbs up in the camera. I see your emoji, Liana, that's good. So Alex, it's gotta be a thumbs up if I ask you for a thumbs up, okay? Because we don't wanna play with the emojis, but everybody have your page right here, page 1. Good. Okay, good. Looks like you do. This is what we do first. It's called Learn It. And this is the instructions page. So I'm going to walk through these pages with you, and we're going to talk about the different types of speech. And then we're going to do a practice page together. So that's the process. And it starts right up here at the very top. It says every word belongs to a group, a word group, a part of speech. So in English, there are 8 parts of speech. It's noun, pronoun, verb, preposition, conjunction, adjective, adverb, and interjection. Those are all called parts of speech. And as we go through this book, you're going to know what all of those mean. You might know a couple of them, and some of them you might not know yet. That's okay, because we're going to learn it as we go here. The first part of speech that you will learn is a noun. And I have a feeling you guys know what a noun is. If you know what a noun is, give me a thumbs up. If you know what a noun is, good. If you're not sure, you can do a sideways thumb like that. Like, I think I know, but I'm not sure. So how about Lacey? Can you tell me what a noun is? What kind of a word is a noun?
It's a person, place, or thing.
Good, excellent answer. And sometimes it can be an idea, but you're right. It's usually something that's tangible, meaning you can touch it a lot of times. So it says here, a noun names a person, place, thing, or idea. To determine if a word is a noun, you can test it. Can an article, adjective, a, an, or the come before it? And is it countable? For instance, if I have this pen right here, I have 1 pen. Now I have 2 pens. I can count pens, right? That means it is a noun. And I can also use one of those words like the pen. Do you see over here on the side, it says tests, and then it says the blank and 2 blank, like the number 2 blank? That's a little reminder that that's how you can test a word. But let's say I have the word purple. If I just say the purple, it probably leaves you hanging like the purple what? What are you talking about, Mrs. C? The purple pillow, the purple elephant. I know they're not really purple, but whatever it was, maybe it's a stuffed animal elephant or something. So those words after purple are the nouns, but the actual word purple is not. So that's a test. It didn't work. The purple doesn't work. The cell phone, that works. Or two cell phones, that works. The computer, two computers. So that's a way you can check to see if a word is a noun, okay, in your head. And then go ahead and skip down here where it says market. You're going to write an N above each noun as shown below. So what we're going to do is this is a practice. We're going to read the sentence, or I'm going to read it to you. And then you're going to find the nouns and put an N on top of it. That just means N for noun. The soldiers walked over hills and rivers. This shows you the answer already. Soldiers are people, and that is a noun. So we put it in there. Hills are things, right? We see hills. That's a noun. And then rivers is also a thing. So that is also a noun. So there's 3 nouns in that sentence. Do you have any questions about nouns? If you don't, you can shake your head. And I see Alex raising your hand. Go ahead, Alex.
Well, does an idea count? Because I've heard person, place, idea, but I never really was good at those ideas.
How do what you mean, the word idea? What's an example of that?
Yeah. If that's a noun.
It could be, yeah, that's a good question. An idea. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head too. Well, the first thought that came to mind is kind of like a dream, right? A dream is not a person or a place or a thing. It's more of kind of like something that happens in our head, like an idea. That's the first one that comes to mind. Does anybody else know of a idea example? Can you think of another one? That's a tricky one.
Happy, sad, angry, mad.
Those are good words, but those are more describing something, so that would be like an adjective.
Yeah.
Those are feelings. So maybe a vision or a plan. Like if you make a plan in your head about your day. So let's say you wake up and you want to plan out your day. You're going to eat breakfast, you're going to work on math, and then you're going to do writing and then science. Let's say you're making a plan in your head for how you're going to get through your day. The plan is really in your head. It's an idea, but it is still a noun. Maybe that's a good example. But if you think of another example, though, let me know. It's a good question. We're going to move on down here to capitalization. You already know to capitalize words, like the first word in the sentence, always, names, always, and then anytime you have the pronoun I, when you use the letter I as a word, that's always capital. You already know that. And it says to place 3 short lines below the letters that should be capitalized. So here's your example. The soldiers were hungry. The needs to be capital. So in this book, they make mistakes like that on purpose to see if you can find it. So you would put 3 little lines under the T to show that that should be capital. And then your end marks, usually it's a period, usually. Sometimes it's a question, so you need a question mark. Sometimes it's an exclamation, like, watch out, or congratulations, or something like that. So you would use an exclamation mark for that when you're expressing excitement or fear. So here you have 2 examples. This one just says they were tired, period. Not a whole lot to that sentence. And then where can they find work? That's a question, because that word where is a question word. So we know we need a question mark at the end of that one. And then at the very bottom, indentation. Does anybody know what indentation is? Do You know what that word means? It's a big one. Have you heard the word indent? You heard that word before? No? It just means at the beginning of a paragraph, you know how you move over a little bit more than a normal word or sentence. Alex?
Can I explain it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I know what it is. It's like when you start a new paragraph, you like you skip a line and go to the next one.
So it's not necessarily a line, it's like moving over from the edge more. But
Like
you're
when you
right.
press what is like I think it's tab or something, you go to like the next one.
If you're typing, it's tab. If you're handwriting it, it's like a 2 finger space sometimes at the beginning,
Yeah.
at the very beginning. Okay. So we're going to try this practice page together. So go ahead and turn to page 3 in your book. And just even before we even read, good. Yes, that's it, Liana. Before we even read, notice how this word starts over more than this word. So that is an indentation or indent. That's what that means. So if there were more sentences, it would be down here. But see how it's moved over. That's telling you it's the first part of the paragraph. That's what that means. All right. Does anybody want to read the sentence today? Do I have any volunteers to read it? Okay, go ahead, Olivia. You can read the sentence.
Did you ever hear the story of the three poor soldiers?
Good, yes. And that word poor, I'm going to use this little plastic, by the way. I usually put it on top here so that I can erase it and I don't mess up my teacher book. But that word poor is in bold. Did you notice it's a little darker than all the other words? That's because that's your vocabulary word. The word is poor. Does anybody know what poor means? You can raise your hand if you know what it means. The word poor, P-O-O-R. Okay, Alex, what does poor mean?
Poor means like or you don't have any a lot of money, like yeah, poor.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So it's like not a lot of money, or things, they're poor. And it's different than like pouring a glass of milk. That's spelled differently. It's P-O-U-R. But this one has 2 O's. So this means lacking money, basically. So good. Now that we know that what it means, what poor means. So go ahead and put a check mark by vocabulary up here. I have another student logging in here, so. And then you're going to move over here to mark it. So the first thing we did was read it. And we checked the vocabulary. Yes, we know what the word means. If you don't know what the word means and you're doing your homework, you should ask your parent what the vocabulary word means to make sure you understand. Check it once you know. And then now we're moving over to mark it. And notice it says 2 nouns, and then in parentheses, it has N. That means that's how we're going to mark that word. And there's only 2 in here. So I see your hand, Alex, but I want to give other people a chance too. Okay. I know you've been in my class before, so I know you're familiar with it. Does anybody else, can you find, let's just start with one noun. Does anybody see a noun in that sentence anywhere? Remember, it's a person, place, thing, or idea. Okay, go ahead, Lacey. Do you see a noun?
Soldiers.
Okay, good. Yep. That's one noun. Does anybody see another noun? Olivia, do you see one?
Story.
Good. Yes. Story. That was easy. You already got those. So go ahead and write an N like I did right on top of those 2 words, story and soldiers. Hi, Mariah. We're on page 3 in your grammar book, okay? Once you put N on top of those words, we're going to put a check mark here. Every once in a while I hear a feedback sound. So if it keeps happening, I might mute you, but if you are in a quiet spot, you can unmute. That's okay. All right. Now we're going to move over here to fix it. And we've got one capital that we need to fix. So I'm going to see if Christopher, which word needs a capital in this sentence?
D.
D, and what word is it?
Did.
Good. So right here, because the very first word of the sentence, you're going to draw 3 little lines underneath that D. That's the sign or the symbol that we need to capitalize that. So now we can put a check mark there. And then Liana, how about the end mark? What do we need at the end of the sentence?
Period.
Good, period. Easy peasy cheesy, huh? So we always start out really easy in this book. It will get harder as we go, but that's it. Notice we have everything checked at the top. I want you to have little check marks there when you're doing your homework too. That tells me you made sure to do all of it.
Wouldn't it be a question mark?
You know what, Alex? I'm so glad you caught that. I didn't even catch that.
I was gonna say it should have been a question mark too.
I just said, yep, good, period, because usually it's a period. See, this is good. You guys are on top of it. Ha, we tricked you. It should be, Christopher, it should be a question mark, and Liana. So go ahead and put a little symbol there for the question mark. You're right, because it starts with did. So that is a question word. Good job, you guys. See, I'm glad you're awake. So we're done with everything on top. Now we go down here and rewrite it. But remember, it's indented. So what I want you to start with is either 2-finger space or just move over a bit and start about right here with did you ever, and you're going to copy this in your nice handwriting and make sure that you fix the things that we fixed here, like the capital. Did you ever hear the story? And then when you go down to the next line, make sure you move over a little bit, because then that shows an indentation right here of the 3 poor soldiers and a question mark. I'm so glad that you guys caught that. So once you're finished with your sentence, go ahead and give me a thumbs up so I can see that you're ready. Okay, good. I'll give you another minute. Okay. If you're still writing, that's okay. Keep going. And in this class, you're going to have a lot of practice with copying, especially in this grammar book. And that's a good skill to learn how to copy, and then you'll get faster with your writing. You want to be not so fast that your handwriting gets really sloppy. You want to take your time on that, but you have to find a happy medium between going really slow and really fast, but your handwriting still looks good. So you'll get used to that the more you practice it. Okay, good. I see that. Olivia, good job. Liana, are you still working or are you finished?
I'm still working.
Okay. Christopher, are you finished? Okay, good. So Liana, you can finish later. It's okay, because so what we're gonna do for homework is, if you don't get it done in class, it's okay. Don't worry about that. I don't want that to be a stress. But okay, good. Good timing. You're gonna do the next 3 pages for your homework. So I'm gonna move this off of my page here. Look at page 4. This is going to be part of your homework. Do you see at the top here where it says week 1, day 2? We just did day 1 together. But your homework is going to be to do this page, which is day 2. This is page 4. And you're going to do the same thing with your parent. You're going to read the sentence, or you can do it by yourself if you can do that by yourself and have your parent check it when you're done. Look at the vocabulary, make sure you know what that word means. If not, you ask your parent. You're going to mark 2 nouns here, and you're going to fix a capital and an end mark. So these are pretty easy pages. Go ahead and look at page 5. This is day 3. That's part of your homework too. Read the sentence, check the vocabulary word, mark the 4 nouns in this sentence this time, and then capital and end mark. And each time you're going to write it at the bottom when you're done. And then the last page is page 6. This one says day 4. This is page 6. You're going to do the same thing. Read the sentence, check the vocabulary word, mark 2 nouns on this page, a capital and an end mark. Remember, you're going to put check marks at the top here each time you do the things on top, and then fix it here and then rewrite it down here. So your homework for grammar is going to be pages 4, 5, and 6. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you know what to do for your grammar homework. Nice, good. I love to see all those thumbs. That's awesome. So that's it for the grammar lesson today. So you can close up your grammar book and put it aside. And then you're going to get out your binder. My dogs are going crazy, so somebody's at our house. I think we have a plumber here or something. Remember I told you about that last week? It's like, sometimes it happens, and unfortunately I can't mute myself or else you guys wouldn't know what to do, right? So hopefully they'll calm down in a minute. Okay, get your binder out. Give me a thumbs up if you have your binder in front of you right now. Yay, good. I see that. I know, Lacey, you don't have yours, but you have the copies with you, right? Good. Okay. Yay, good. So in your binder, you should have all your papers. Oops, hold on. There we go. On top of the tabs. This is where you might need help from a parent. So if your mom or dad is nearby and they're listening in, since this is kind of new to you getting into your binder and getting papers out, maybe parents, you could just be on standby. If your child needs help, you can step in and help, but I really want to hopefully see if they could do this by themselves. So you should have the whole pack right here on top of the tabs. Okay. So make sure you have it on top of the tabs inside of your binder. Everybody have that part so far? It's just in your rings. It's on top of the tabs. Good. I see that thumbs up there. Good. Now I want you to start turning pages. So this is the top page. It's a colorful, like thicker page with a picture. And we're going to turn through a few pages here. So go ahead and don't open the rings yet. We're just turning pages. This is the first part of the binder. Pretty much has all the boring stuff in it, right? The table of contents. Keep going. There's more boring information here about what should be in the binder. Keep going. More information. Keep going. And then stop here. You should see week 1, the dog and the shadow. And giant saguaro. We're going to learn about what that is too. And then at the bottom, at the page, you should see page 9. Do you guys see that page in your binder? Give me a thumbs up if you do. Okay, good. Nice. Now, this is where your binder should be flat. So when you're laying it on the table, your binder should be all the way open flat. And we're going to take out the first lesson. So go ahead when your binder's flat on this page, undo the rings. You're going to pull apart on those tabs at the top and the bottom of your binder to open the rings. If you need help, just ask your parent so you know what to do. You're going to take out pages, a bunch of pages actually. So you're going to take out page 9, set that aside. You're going to take out page 10 or 11, actually. This is the one about the dog. Take that one out. Put that aside. You're going to take this one out. This is page 13, called the giant saguaro. Take that page out. This yellow page, you're going to take that page out. And that's it. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 pages that you took out of your binder. And then you'll see week 2, and that one's called scorpions. We're going to leave that in there. So then you can close your rings, and you should hear a little click. Close your rings so everything stays together. And then we're going to do one more thing before you put your binder away, because there is one more thing we need to do. Thumbs up if you got those pages, those 4 pages out already. Sweet. Good. Yay. You got it, Christopher? Got your pages? Good. So notice the tabs in the very back. So let's move the whole chunk after you close the rings. Make sure the rings are closed. You're going to move this whole chunk of papers until you get to the very back here where you see these are called tabs right here. So part of this class, I'm teaching you how to stay organized in your binder, and these tabs will help us do that. And we're just going to do one thing here. Lacey, go ahead.
I only have 3 pages.
Yeah, I know. I only gave you 3 because one of the pages we're not going to use today. So that's okay. Don't worry about that. I'll explain that in a second. But thanks for bringing that up. I'll explain that. In the back, we've got all these tabs. So this first tab right here, it says source texts. See that one in your book, in your binder? I want you to take out, so again, make sure you lay your binder flat. Open the rings, and you're just going to take out that whole tab like this. Take it out of the rings, called source text, and then close your rings again. You should hear that click. Close the rings after you take that out. So this is what we're taking out. Just this tab, the one that says source text. Texts just is another word for like stories or passages or things that we're going to read. Good. You got that out? Now, make sure your rings are closed, and we're going to go back here to where we saw week 2. And that is on page 17. Go back to where you see scorpions. I know we're flipping all over the binder. That's okay. This is just the beginning of organizing. And we're going to do a little bit each day on organizing, each week on organizing your binder. So go back here, page 17. This is the week 2 scorpions. Okay. Once you find it, give me a thumbs up so I know you're back on this page. Good, Olivia. I see that. I see Liana is still turning pages. It should be page 17, called week 2 scorpions. It's like way back at the beginning. Did you find it? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Mariah, are you good? You on this page? You got it, Mariah? Okay, good. Now, this tab right here that you took out goes right on top of scorpions. The story that's scorpions, it goes right on top of that. So go ahead and with your binder laying flat, open the rings one more time, stick this tab right here on top of scorpions, and then close your rings again. You should hear that click. So see where I've got right underneath here is scorpions. And then you have source text right on top of that. Yay, I see that, Liana. See that thumbs up. Good, Olivia. Good. Good, Christopher. Yay, you guys are doing it. So then you'll see when you go back to this top page here, now you see source text, because starting next week, when we get another story out, you're just going to grab that tab and then boom, you'll be right there on Scorpions. So it just helps keep your binder organized. And that's all we're going to do to organize it today. So make sure your rings are closed. Super important to close your rings, and then you can close your binder. Okay, we're done with that today for right now. And you can set the binder aside. Good. I see everybody doing that. Yay, you guys are good listeners. Okay. Now, let's look at the pages we got out. And I know, Lacey, you don't have this one, so don't worry. I'm just going to talk about it. You didn't really need it today, but this page where it says week 1, the dog in shadow, and then giant saguaro. This page is if you were doing this by yourself with your parent, you would use this as like a lesson plan. But since you're doing this binder with me, we don't need this page, but I like to keep it together with the whole unit or that lesson so that it stays together. So really, we're not going to use this page at all. So you can set it aside and we're going to look at this page. This is where we're going to start right here. This is page 11 called The Dog and the Shadow, and it says attributed to Aesop. Has anybody heard of Aesop's fables before? You guys heard of Aesop's fables? Okay. Oops. Whoa. I zoomed in here. Okay, hold on just a second. Okay. Aesop's fables is a collection of stories that tell have a moral to them or a lesson that we can learn from them. And you might have heard of the story about like the lion and the mouse, or here's a more popular one, the tortoise and the hare. Have you heard about that one before? That's an
Yes.
fable. Yeah. So basically it's a fun story. They usually have animals in the story, and there's usually a lesson that you can learn from the story. And this is one of those. So where it says attributed to Aesop, that just means it's that type of a story. It's an Aesop's fable. Alex, did you have a question? Oh, where did Alex? Oh, there you are. You're muted. Did you want to ask me something?
Yeah, I heard of Aesop's fables before.
Okay,
Yeah, I
good.
heard The Lion and the Mouse.
The Lion and the Mouse. Yep, that's a good one. There's also one about the crow and the stone, I think, or the crow and the stones. Yeah, Mariah is nodding. She knows. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, we're gonna actually, it's kind of fun because we're gonna read kind of a lot of Aesop's fables. They're kind of fun to read. So what I'm going to do here is just read this story to you, but I want you to be thinking, what kind of a lesson can you learn from this story? And you see the picture here, the poor doggy's a little skinny. I feel bad for him. He needs some more food. So, but he's there, and obviously he's standing on what looks like a bridge, and he's looking down into the water. And I see a bird, and I can tell he's outside. So it's going to be, we already know it's called The Dog in the Shadow. You probably know what a shadow is. So I see a shadow right here kind of on the bridge. But if you look closely into the water, it's almost like a reflection. Do you know what a reflection is?
Yeah.
Like when you look in the mirror and you see yourself, it's kind of like that. I can see like an upside down dog face there.
I can see it too.
Yeah. Good. So I think that's what's happening here, but I'm going to read this and then we'll talk about it. Okay. So it says, a lucky dog had found a big fresh bone and was carrying it home to enjoy. On his way, he had to cross a low bridge over a calm stream. As he crossed, he looked down and saw his own reflection in the water beneath. Thinking it was another dog with another bone, he wanted to have that also. So he growled and snapped at the other dog in the water. But as he opened his mouth, the bone fell out. It dropped into the stream and was gone forever. So poor doggy. So thinking about that, can anyone think of a lesson you could learn from that Aesop's fable? What can you learn from that? Olivia, what do you think?
I think that you can learn that you can't always want everything else when you already have something. And if you do want everyone else's things, you might lose the only thing that you have.
Wow, very well put, Olivia. I like that. I think you're exactly right. That's good because he thinks he wanted another bone, but in the meantime, he lost his one bone that he had. So good. Does anybody else have anything to add to that? Any other parts of the lesson? Maybe something like don't always believe everything you see, right? Or hear, because he's thinking it's another dog, but it wasn't. So he got fooled by just the water, the reflection. So maybe that's a lesson we could learn. Don't always believe everything you see. And then I think you're right, Olivia. It's kind of like the word is greedy. He might have been a little bit greedy because he wanted that extra bone. So good. Okay. Now we're going to do something called a keyword outline. This is going to be new to you, but and Alex knows it's not new to him because he took my class before. So, but the rest of you, this is going to be new. And this is something we're going to do often, and it's going to really help you with your writing skills. So what I want you to do now is get out a clean piece of lined paper like this and a pencil. Paper and pencil. And I like to see that you guys have your supplies right in front of you, just like I asked you last week. So good job. That's excellent. Now I'm going to write with a pen just so you can see it better in the camera here. But we're going to start, if you have a pencil, you can start with a pencil. Eventually, I'm going to have you move into using a pen. But for now, just use a pencil for this. I'll give you a second to get that together. So you should have a clean piece of paper and then a pen or a pencil. Okay. Good. Now, the first step while you guys are getting your stuff ready is to put your name on your paper. I know you're homeschooled and you probably wouldn't get your papers mixed up with other people in your family, but everything you do for me in this class, I want you to put your name on it. It's just a good habit to get into. So right here, next to this pink line on the top, I want you to put your first and last name right here on the top. I'm just going to draw a line for that space. So like Alex is going to put Alex Mora, Lacey is going to put Lacey Casares. So you're going to write your first and last name right here on the top line next to that pink line. So anytime we get out a new piece of paper, that's the first step. Always put your name on your paper. And here, I don't want it on this side. I'm going to be really picky about that. I want you to put your name on the left side by the holes near that line. And then right underneath it, I want you to put today's date. And today's date is September 13, and then a comma. Whoops. I almost put a 3 there. 2023. That's the year. Okay.
Can we
Now,
just put the September, or could we just put the 9th for it?
You beat me to it. I was just going to say, if you like to write your date with the numbers only, like 9/13/23, you can do that. I'm okay with that. Or I like to do it the traditional way to write it all out, but I'm okay with however you like to write your date. But make sure somewhere right here, right underneath your name on the left side, you put the date. Always. So every time we get a new piece of paper, name and date, name, date, name, date. It's a good habit to get into. All right, from here, I want you to skip a line. So whenever I say skip a line, that just means leave a space here. And in the middle, or around the middle, it doesn't have to be perfect. I want you to write the title of the story that we just read, which is the dog and the shadow. So it's going to go right here. You're going to skip that line. The dog. And notice and the are lowercase. And then shadow has a capital. So we've got the is capital, dog is capital, and the are not. And then shadow is. And we're going to learn why it's that way later. But for now, just copy it just like that at the top of your page there, the dog and the shadow. Now, under that, I'm teaching you how to make an outline. So this is called a key word outline. So right underneath that, I want you to put with a capital K, key, and then a capital W for word, and then outline has a capital O. Key word outline. So I'll just give you a minute to get that down on your paper. And when you got that, give me a thumbs up. Good, Mariah, see that? Or that's your pencil. I thought that was your thumb for a second. Good, Mariah. Good, Olivia. Christopher, I see that. Good. Alex, good. I see a thumbs up. So anytime we do a new piece of paper, we always want to make sure to put the title of whatever we're working on so we know what it goes to. And then this is just telling us keyword outline. That's what we're working on first. Good. I see that, Liana. Okay, I know Lacey's still writing. That's okay. Keep writing. The next step, oh, good. The next step is to write down some numbers. So next you're going to skip a line and then come over here next to that pink line. And now I want you to write 1 through 6 like this. 1, and then under that put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I like to put a little dot next to my numbers. So you're skipping a line here, skip a line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Later, good. Later, I'm going to show you how to do Roman numerals and things like that. But for this first lesson, it's going to be really basic. We're just writing 1 through 6. And these represent every sentence in the story, The Dog and the Shadow. We just read that. There are 6 sentences in that story. So we have a number to represent each sentence. Now, I want you to keep this close by. I'm just going to move it down like this, but if you want to put yours side by side, that's okay, because I don't have room in my camera to do that. But I want you to be able to see the original story and your outline at the same time. We're going to start again at the first sentence, and this time we're going to look for those key words. Now, key words are basically the important words to the sentence. So I can tell you right off the bat, words like had and a and was, those are not key words. Those don't tell me any information about the sentence. So when I'm looking for a keyword, I'm looking for what is this sentence mostly about? And what do I need to write down to help me remember what the sentence was? So I'm going to look at the sentence. A lucky dog had found a big fresh bone and was carrying it home to enjoy. Well, I know we're talking about a dog because that's the name of the title, right? The Dog in the Shadow. So I already know we're talking about a dog, even though dog is a keyword. I don't need to put it in my outline because I know the whole thing is about the dog. By the way, I forgot to tell you, there's a few rules about the outline. One is you can only put down 3 words. So it's kind of like a little puzzle. So you got more than 3 words here, right? You probably have like 10 or something there in that sentence, but you can only put down 3 in your outline for that sentence. So you're going to have to be really careful what keywords that you pick to help you remember what that sentence was about. So I'm not going to say dog because the whole thing is about dog, but I do know that the bone is a really important piece of the story because it's all that happens with the dog and his bone. I think we need to make sure to include bone. And then the fact that he was traveling home and he was going home to enjoy it. So in that sentence, I do want you to take a pencil, your pencil. Hold on. Oh, here we go. And underline bone, home, and enjoy. Go ahead and underline those words on the story: bone, home, and enjoy. Those are good key words that are going to help us remember that sentence. So now on this paper where we have our outline, I want you to copy down that word bone and then put a comma and then home and comma and enjoy. 3 words only. That's all we can use on our outline. And this will make sense as we go. We won't be able to finish the whole outline today, but that's okay. We can work on this again next week. But that's the rule, only 3 words. And I use comma to separate my words. Okay, now, as you're writing that, I need a volunteer. Oh, do you have a question, Olivia?
So when you're writing bone, home, and enjoy, at the end of all of them, enjoy is the last, would you put a period or would you put nothing?
Great question. I would put nothing because you only really need a period if it's a sentence. Yeah. And this is more like a list. Okay. So when you have a list of words like this and that you don't have all the extra words to give it a sentence, you don't need a period. So we're just going to leave it without. Good question though. Are there any volunteers to read the second sentence that starts with on his way? Go ahead, Mariah. Can you read that sentence on his way? Just that one sentence.
On his way, he had to cross a low bridge over a calm stream.
Good. Nice reading. Okay, so does anybody want to try to tell us what are the key words in that sentence? See if you can pick just 3 words from that sentence. Lacey, what do you think are the key words? Let's just talk about it first.
I think it's stream.
Stream. I think I definitely agree with that. Let's go ahead and underline stream. We need that word. What else do we need to help us remember? What's another key word? Okay, Olivia, what's another one?
Bridge.
Oh yeah, for sure, bridge. Good. We got 2. Alex, do you have a question or you want to tell us another keyword?
Both.
Okay.
Off right now, so
I know, I let you back in. That's okay.
yeah. And cross cross.
Cross is a good one. Let's think about that because there's another word that I think would be good to put in our outline to help us think of, what do you think? Calm. Yeah. Is that what you were thinking too, Olivia? Calm.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's underline calm. You know, with water, if the water is calm, that means there's no waves, right? It's really still. And sometimes it's almost like glass. It's so smooth. That's when you really see yourself if you look in the water like that. So I do think calm is a good one. So let's put bridge, calm, and stream for number 2. Bridge, calm, and stream. Let's see. I hear a little bit of background noise. Is it might be Lacey or oh, there you go, Olivia. You got it. All right. As you're writing that, I need another volunteer. It's okay, Lacey. You can still hear me, right? Okay. I need another volunteer to read the 3rd sentence. And then we'll talk about some key words of that sentence. How about Christopher? Can you unmute Christopher and read this one where it starts with as he crossed? Can you read that one to us?
As he crossed, he looked down and saw his own reflection in the water beneath.
Good. As he crossed. Good. So who can help with some keywords in that sentence? Mariah, what's one of the keywords you think?
He crossed.
Okay. Let's think about that. I think that could be a really good one, but we want to make sure to only pick 3. So let's explore some other thoughts. What do you think, Alex?
Reflection.
Reflection. That's a good one. I like that one for sure. We'll think about crossed. Okay. So we might come back to that one. Olivia, what's another keyword? Oops, you're muted. I missed it.
Water.
Water. Okay, I think so. What do you think, Lacey? Another one?
Beneath.
Yeah, I think so too. That just means under, right? So even though Mariah, I like that word crossed, I think we can kind of assume that he's crossing the bridge because he's at this bridge. Okay. So for this, and by the way, I wanted to remind you, there are lots of keywords. And so one person might pick a certain set of keywords and another person might think another set of keywords is better. So, but for now, we're going to copy and do the same keywords together, but eventually you get to decide what for yourself. Okay. So I did like that one, but I think these are going to be better words to help us remember the sentence. So I'm going to put reflection and water and beneath. Okay, so we are out of time. So now we're going to pause on this and we're going to finish this next week. I really want to take it slow on this first lesson, just so you really get an idea of what we're trying to do with these keywords. So we're not going to do any homework for this writing part. Your homework will only be those 3 pages in grammar that we talked about earlier. So those pages are 10. Oh no, sorry, not 10. It's looking at the wrong one. Those pages are 4, 5, and 6 in your grammar book. 4, 5, and 6. And that's all your homework for this week. We're going to wait on this and we're going to finish this next week. And then I'll give you the next assignment next week. Okay, so you should be on Google Classroom. And I know we talked about that last week to turn in your homework. So what you would do is either take a picture with your phone. By the way, if parents are near and you can hear me, I heard about this Adobe app you can get on your phone and it'll actually scan the your document and turn it into a PDF file. And then that way you can upload it to your Google Drive and then you attach it to your Google Classroom homework assignment. If anyone needs help with that, please let me know and I'll walk you through how to do that. So that's how you turn in your homework. Any questions right now for me? No? You're good. If you don't have any questions, you're free to go. I will see you next week at the same time on the same link. Good job, you guys. Bye. Alex, I think you're staying on for a minute. Okay. Bye, you guys. Have a good day.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye. You can just click leave. There you go. You got it, Olivia? Alex, did you need to talk to me or your mom's